Thank you, Matt. It's been an extraordinary year and 4 years, and I think it's been pretty full on since the year 2016, actually, but congratulations to making it to the end of your run.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask this again. We've been asking about the incidents of Israel's activities in Gaza that are being investigated by people in this building. Are you confident that the conclusions of some of these incidents will reach the light of day moving forwards to the next administration? Is there anything that this building's doing to shore up to make sure that those conclusions come to light?
So we continue to work to reach definitive answers with respect to a number of the incidents that we are looking at. But I can tell you that the obligation that the State Department has to investigate potential violations of international humanitarian law through the use of U.S. weapons are not obligations that expire on January 20th. They're obligations that carry over from this administration to the next administration. So we would fully expect that the next administration would carry out its duties under the law. There are a number of potential incidents that we have been looking at. You've seen us issue a report where we went into detail how we are looking at these, the fact that we do believe it's reasonable to assess that there have been instances in which Israel has violated international humanitarian law or its commitments under Israeli law. But we have a number of incidents that we're looking at, and if those aren't finished between now and Monday, there are obligations that continue on into the next administration.
And on that report that you mentioned, that you're talking about the NSM there, is it your hope that U.S. officials and also indeed foreign journalists will at some point be allowed to go back into Gaza and be able to provide evidence and information that was perhaps lacking when putting that report together?
Certainly. We have wanted foreign journalists to be able to get into Gaza already. It has been long our position that journalists should be able to operate inside Gaza. I know it's dangerous. I know it puts journalists at risk, but we have heard journalists say they want to face that risk and go in and bring the truth to light, and we support their efforts to do so. But certainly we would want them to do so. And I can't speak to, when it comes to the position of U.S. personnel, I don't think I should speak to that, given that it's going to be I don't want to speak for the next administration. The ceasefire goes into effect on Sunday. The new administration takes office on Monday, so I don't think I should try to speak for them. But certainly I can say on behalf of this administration, we would want to be able to do anything we could to gather facts about potential violations of international humanitarian law.
And last question on what the Secretary laid out about the day after plan.
Yeah.
Do you have any more specifics about who, or if there are any parties that are willing to step forwards and help with the de-radicalization in Gaza, or are you just hoping that's something that will become clear if this succeeds?
So we have had conversations with a number of our partners in the region about that. I don't think the countries are any secret, because the Secretary has talked about his work on the day after as he's traveled around the region and met with these partners. I don't want to, there are different partners that have spoken about different aspects they'd be willing to contribute at different phases of this process. So I don't want to speak to them publicly, largely because the plan that the Secretary laid out, we found got broad support, but there were still details that needed to be agreed. And it was always our assumption that if we got to phase one, it was during phase one of the agreement that you could really force agreement on the day after plan, because it takes bringing about a ceasefire to focus the mind on what comes next and to drive agreement on what comes next. And so we were really looking for this opportunity to drive real agreement on turning those broad strokes into implementable plans. So what we're going to do, as the Secretary said yesterday, is take those plans and turn it over to the incoming administration. We've already had conversations with them about them. It is our hope that they will pick them up and run with it, but of course those will be decisions for them to make. And if they don't, I do believe that there are countries in the region who are going to want to step up, who are not going to want Gaza to be a source of continued suffering and pain and instability to the broader region.
Thank you.
Saeed.